when we want our kids, when we have an underlying idea that our kids need to be a certain way, to do things a certain way, to not do other things, to fit this mental image or picture we have of who we think that they should be or could be, is another way our mind, it's the coulds and the shoulds. It creates a boatload of tension for your child and for you. So, how am I going to be who I am authentically and really love on my kids in my way that works for me so that they thrive? How am I going to release that attachment to who I wish they would be and just fully embrace who they are so they feel seen and known and loved and create the best in them? Hey everybody, it's Honor here. I'm so excited to be with you today to share a very powerful shift that moms who I work with and have been helping for a long time are making to reduce overwhelm. And not just to reduce overwhelm, but to create so much more ease in their parenting. I mean, let's be real. If there's one thing that we all want, it's for things to flow smoothly, to feel loved and appreciated, to have more than enough support that we need, to not have to rush, to feel like we have ample time. There's plenty of energy. And when we speak, our kids hear us and they get us and they value what we have to say as their guide, as their teacher, as their mother, as their sometimes coach for you. So let's dive in. The problem, as we know, we're talking a lot about it here, is moms feeling overwhelmed. Now, we could talk all day about why that is, but in this case today, in this talk, we're really focusing on one mental shift that people are making that moves them out of frustration, anger, overwhelm, into ease, feeling relaxed, being able to have the home work in a way that you need to as a mom, having your partner, if you have one, support you, support the kids better, and just in general bringing more organization and flow to the home, meaning you have more space and time for connection, for love, for joy, for the things that you wanted when you signed up for this role. So here it is. When you are making this mistake that I'm going to break down, you are often feeling quite overwhelmed that things aren't going the way you want them to. That's the way it shows up. That's the way I see it in a lot of my clients. Like they're just not doing what I need them to do. Okay, so raise your hand if you have felt that. They're just not doing what I need them to do. They're not doing what I ask them to do. They're not responding when I ask them to do things. Right? I'm not getting the result I need from my people. Right? Not getting the cooperation I need, the support, maybe the respect too. The mistake that people make that drives that kind of frustration, and I'm just going to lay it out here, and for some of you this will stick and for some of you it won't, but I'm going to speak to you how I speak to my clients. There is often an underlying, it's unconscious, we don't know we're doing it, but there's an attachment to needing our kids to be a certain way, to do things a certain kind of way. Maybe there's an attachment to certain behaviors that you really want them to have or to not have. There's an attachment, and when I say attachment, I mean I need it to go this way so that I feel okay. And really hear me on this. Really hear me on this. Let your mind be open to this. When we want our kids, when we have an underlying idea that our kids need to be a certain way, to do things a certain way, to not do other things, to fit this mental image or picture we have of who we think that they should be or could be, is another way our mind, it's the coulds and the shoulds. It creates a boatload of tension for your child and for you. It's both at the same time. The child feels what we feel. So our frustration gets mirrored, gets picked up, and gets directed right back to us often. Sometimes the child turns it on themselves, and that creates depression in kids, irritability, stuff like that. So let's break that down. What does that mean? Why am I attaching to things like that? And I'll hear my clients say, like, I get rigid about things at times, or I get controlling. I want to be able to control their behavior. I'm so mortified. I'm so humiliated that my kids are speak to other adults the way they do, or that when adults speak to them, they don't respond. It's mortifying, right? I have this idea that, oh my God, that's going to back up on me. Like, who do they think? What do they think about me? I'm such a crap mom that, like, my kids don't even have basic manners, or they go to people's houses and they aren't respectful, or so there can be a whole lot of mental chatter about that. That is emotional noise. Emotional noise. I'm embarrassed. I'm humiliated. What are my kids doing out in the world? Oh my God. And then we go to, like, I'm so angry that they're not fitting this mold I have. We could do it about the partner too. Sometimes there's like, you're not doing it the way I want you to do it. And then if this is you, you know what happens. So you do it all yourself, right? Kids don't learn anything. They don't become any more cooperative. Partners don't learn how to support you better. You don't learn how to receive support better. You just stack reasons to be overwhelmed or reasons to be angry. Either way, you're the one losing. Like, you're losing at your own wish for happiness. You miss out. You miss out on the chance to be joyful right here, right now, with your kids at whatever age they are, being present for them and creating the life you want as a mom with your kids. Okay, so let's break down just for a moment what that attachment is all about. All right, not going to go deep into this, but there are reasons we all have. We all have reasons. We have good reasons for what we do, even if we don't understand it. And this is where help comes in, really handy, to work with an expert to be able to help you understand why you're doing something and then take the steps to change that pattern. It's all patterns. And so when I'm, let's just say, I'm thinking of someone, a client who I worked with a while back, who really wanted her daughter to stop doing certain behaviors. Like, it just would drive her crazy. She would feel so frustrated. She would feel embarrassed in front of other people. Her kid would be the loudest, the biggest meltdowns, the on, the not very tuned in, tapped in, respectful kid, just in her own little sensory world, as kids can be. So her mom had an attachment to her kid not being like that, meaning, if we flip that, she really had an attachment to her daughter being respectful, compliant, more mild-mannered, more easygoing, more flexible, easier to parent, kind of this vision she had in her head of who she wanted her kid to be. And she was attached, clinging for dear life, to that needing to be true, so that, meaning her kid needed to change, so that she would feel okay. All right, that's what attachment feels like. Attachment feels like, I need this to happen in order for me to know that I'm okay. Let's peel that back, you guys. I'm peeling that layer and I'm looking underneath. Okay, what does that say? That means I don't really feel okay. I don't know that I'm okay. I don't know that I'm doing a great job as a mom. I'm basing my success on, does my kid match the profile in my mind so that I can be successful, so that it can be okay? Or am I every day giving myself messages because she doesn't fit this profile that I'm not okay, I'm not doing okay, this isn't going well, she's going to have a life of disappointment because the world is going to teach her all these lessons I don't know how to help her learn now. Okay, where this leads us, we feel so defeated, right? What we set out for isn't happening, therefore we must be failing. We don't know what steps to take to help our kids. We feel helpless. We feel worried about their future. Worry, defeat, anger, blame, frustration leads to exhaustion, more overwhelm, anxiety, not effective parenting. Can I effectively parent from a place of, like, exhaustion, anger, frustration? Absolutely not. I can't. I couldn't. I wouldn't expect you to be able to either. This is like the writing is on the wall for overwhelm when all these things are going on. And here's the kicker. A lot of it is happening under your radar. You're not knowing why, you're not knowing what's causing it, you're not knowing how to proactively change and shift into more effective parenting. You're just probably, like most of my clients, beating yourself up that this isn't working, being so angry, not knowing how to grieve that you got a kid you don't know how to deal with. And the only way to change the dynamic to into effective parenting, into really seeing your kid actually thrive, is for you to make the mental shift from attachment, from like, I wish that she was more like this. I wish that she wasn't like that. I wish that he was like that kid, like that other kid I have, like these other kids I see out in the world. Why can't he just be like that? It's our attachment to what we wish was that we need to make the mental shift on. Okay, and this is where, most of us are going to need help to do this. So that goes deep. And the reason why we need help in moving that is because we can see it, we can identify it. Hopefully, this talk will really help you to do that and empower you to do that. We can see that pattern in us, or we can go, yeah, that feels true. Like what she's saying does, I bet I'm doing that. And you may be like, no, I'm definitely not doing that. And that's fine. Just start to get curious about it. Curiosity is your friend in motherhood and parenting. But really, like, the problem that you're basing your success as a mom, or your success in helping your kid thrive, on whether or not they're being who you want them to be, that's a problem. And you know why it's a problem? We can't change who they are. We can't change their DNA. We cannot change their personality. They really came with all of that. There are a lot of things, and I've done them myself, to keep genetic markers from getting turned on. There are things we can do to promote optimal health in our kids. There is mental programming we can do with them and for them to help them to be the very best, most successful person on this planet that they can be. And I've done those things for my own children, and I teach my clients how to do those things. We can create visions for our kids that they then fill in the gaps for, and they become, and they manifest. All of these are possibilities, however, not when you're holding on to and attached to a vision that you just want them to be this thing different from who they are. Do you get that? It's a big barrier to our own joy and fulfillment as mom. A barrier to my fulfillment as mom would be me focusing on the things about my kiddo that are so frustrating for me, that I don't understand, that I wish were different. And I watch moms do it every day. And what we're doing in transforming, like in our work with clients in Awakened Motherhood, is transforming our own presets, our own lens, our default, our perception. Any shift in perception is truly a miracle, you guys. If we can make that mental shift from what we think they should be into something really nurturing and beautiful, something that is honoring of who they are, something that is honoring of who we are as a present, aware, conscious, intentional parent. And those are things that we can build in our identity and develop. And like, as far as getting there from where you might be now, if you are feeling like you're stuck and you don't know how to get from there into beautiful, easeful, enjoyable parenting, then definitely book a call with me and I'll point you in the right direction. Either I will invite you to work with me and help you make that transformation in your life, which is miraculous, and we're doing that every day in Awakened Motherhood, or I'll give you some other smaller steps if you're really, just somewhere on your journey, not quite sure you're ready to really have that level of joy yet, or that you're worthy. And most people are really ready if you're feeling stuck. The problem that we see, and kind of where people sort of delay that level of change and transformation, is that they feel they're not worthy I don't really know that I can have that kind of happiness. No one showed me. My mom didn't show me. My parents were unhappy, or my mom was so perfect and never talked about her problems and never had a feeling of her own. And I just can't live up to that. Like, no shit, you can't live up to that. Like, we're emotional beings. So, how am I going to be who I am authentically and really love on my kids in my way that works for me so that they thrive? How am I going to release that attachment to who I wish they would be and just fully embrace who they are so they feel seen and known and loved and create the best in them? Right? That's what we're doing in Awaken Motherhood. So it's like living with this family you have now, loving them fully, being totally present as a mom, and embracing who they are authentically so that they feel worthy, they feel loved. And guess what that creates, you guys? Amazing connection, respect, amazing cooperation from kids, incredible flow in your household, kids taking responsibility for their stuff because I'm taking responsibility for my stuff, right? That's how it works. They are your perfect mirror. Your kids are your gurus. They are your teachers spiritually. They are your perfect mirror. If there's something you don't like that they're showing you, that is your work. It's not them. It's never them. So that's our side of the street to clean up. And you know, that is a beautiful thing that kids offer us. That I love that our kids offer us that opportunity if we're willing to seek out the the work to learn how to upgrade our thinking, make those mental shifts, and learn the strategies that we may not have been taught up until now in how to create ease at home. And it's possible for all of us. You know, I'll say, and I'm going to wrap up on this, but I'll say that, like, I'm seeing clients with all kinds of different histories, trauma history, deep motherhood wounds, no modeling and how to set boundaries. No, like, grew up in really enmeshed families where everybody was in their business and they weren't allowed to have any feelings, and overwhelm is just the only way they know how to be in the world. Or they were born. I saw a comment today. Someone said, like, yeah, I'm sure this works for people, but not anybody who was born with anxiety, who was born with ADHD. Like, and it's just not true. Those are all limiting beliefs that we can move and change and up level. We are our only limitation. We are our only real thing limiting ourselves from having joy and happiness and fulfillment. It's in us. And when we learn the formula for how to change that, we really are limitless. There's nothing we can't do. There's no level of joy and fulfillment that we can't create within ourselves, and that flows into family, right? So the game isn't about trying to control and make people fit into the mold that we want them to be, whether it's a partner, whether it's a kid, whether it's whoever, whether you're doing that to yourself. It really is about showing up with so much authentic presence and acceptance of what is here now, that we can work with what we really have available to us. And if you are doing that and you're just hitting a skill gap and you don't know how to move from where you are to that level of joy that you want to be in, then reach out. Book a call. It's www.honorjanetsky.com/call. I'll put the link in this post. And I'd be so happy to have a chat with you. The Clarity Call is a free 45-minute consult. Sometimes, you know, if we're really rocking, it's an hour. And you will learn. First of all, you know, we'll learn if I can help you, and if there is a fit for you here, then I'll lay out for you how we do it and what it looks like, and we can see if that's a match for you. And if it's not, and I'll be very straight with you about that. If it's not, I'll give you some other steps, okay? You know, if it's not me and I'm not sure that I can help you, then I'll point you in a direction that will. So reach out if you want some help. Regardless of where you are in your journey, I'd love to hear what for you was helpful in this talk, as well as let me go back and I'll look at some comments, see if there are any questions in a second. Love to hear for you what questions you're having that this has sparked. Reach out if you want help. It can be so good. No matter how strong-willed your child is, how different your child is, what an oddball your kiddo is, like, there are steps we can take to be able to fully accept who they are and let go of our attachment to the dream of who they would be And there is no sadness on the other side of that. There's sadness in resisting that. There's grief in resisting that. But there's so much joy and freedom, so much joy and freedom in being able to fully be here now for yourself and for who they are. Lots of love, you guys. Have a beautiful day.